What are we doing today? We're going to figure out how do we get students engaged, and the way we're going to figure that out is by reversing that and asking how do you prevent students from becoming disengaged. So what I did is I went to my students and I asked the second question, when do students give up in school? And what I was trying to get at is, when do you become disengaged? Like, when do you just go, I've had it? The first one they said, when they're facing other issues. Another one is when they're afraid of making mistakes. They disengage because it's just too hard, or they're perceiving like it's too hard, and they don't want to like jump into it. Another one, they don't see the benefits of school. Like they don't, why do I need to be in biology? What's the point of third grade? 4, when they think the teacher's being unfair. I didn't think of that one. That's what they gave me. They said, well, my teacher's being unfair. That's when I'm like, all right, I'm not going to listen to you. Number 5, when they're apathetic, which is a huge idea. And then last one, when they don't have a sense of community, when they're not connected to school, they don't have friends, they just don't feel like anyone's there for them. This morning, I'm going to go through each one of these, systematically. I'm going to give you strategies for each one of them. Strategies you can use in the classroom that you can apply next week. When they're facing other issues, we have no control over those issues. Poverty, divorce, there's all sorts of things happening in students' lives, and we have no control. So the strategy is simple, right? The only strategy we can use is the great commandment, which is know thy students. So obviously there's some things that go with that. The first day, learn names as fast as possible. Right? If you teach high school, you have 200 students, you learn those names as quick as possible, and you purposely think, okay, the students that are hiding from me are the ones I need to go seek. Connecting to students is what matters here. Then you know what's going on, like in their life, and then when something happens, you're more likely to recognize it and realize, hey, that kid has nothing to do with class and school. It has everything to do with something else at home. All right, let's move on to the next one. When they're afraid of making mistakes. Take a look at this. Oh, here's your strategy that goes along with it. Reduce the fear. Fear doesn't motivate students. It motivates the short run, but it doesn't motivate them in the long run. So we have to tell them, listen, I'm here for you. This is going to be hard. You're going to get pushed. This is going to be difficult, but that's okay. That's part of the process. So it'll make more sense maybe with an example. So let me give you an example. Take your right hand, if you could. Right hand, then do this. Don't look up here, just look at me. Okay, like this, go thumb out, put it away, pinky out. Thumb out, pinky out. Thumb out, pinky out. Thumb out, pinky out. Perfect, awesome. Now, 2 hands. Same thing over again. Thumbs out, pinkies out. Thumbs out, pinkies out. Boop, beep. You can show your partner, look what I can do, whee! Great, awesome. Now here's what I want you to do. Just watch me. Thumb out, pinky out. Thumb out, pinky out. Looks like this. Thumb out, pinky out. Thumb out, pinky. Looks like this. Da, 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 da. You okay? Okay. This is called experiential learning. I love doing these activities in the classroom. Let's debrief this. Let's talk about how this is like classroom, because it's exactly the same as school. When I first had you do one-handed, a lot of you guys are like, this is so easy. Like, I can do this all day long. Right? And I had 2 hands. You're like, duh, I can do this. What happened in the third round? Hold on a second. See what I'm saying? Now, what was your attitude when you couldn't do it? Did you give up? This is stupid. I should never have become a teacher and like ran off. School is exactly the same way. Now, who in this room is really good at it? Who?
Fingers or school?
This. Who's really good at this?
You.
I am. And who am I? I'm the teacher. I am so good at economics. I am so good. I can do all the calculations and all the graphs, and I require no thought and no energy whatsoever. It is so easy for me. But not because I'm brilliant. It's not because I'm a genius. Why is it? Because I practice. I practice economics, and there's been times in my life it was really hard, and it took time for me to learn, and now it's so easy. So your students walk in the room, they see you doing things, but the kids go, oh, I can't do it. I don't know how to do this. That's okay. It takes time. I'm there for you. It doesn't motivate you and make you do this any better by me yelling at you or screaming at you or being like, well, it's great if you don't do this, right? Or there's going to be a huge test on Friday. It's all about, listen, you got to practice. And if you're not getting it, you got to practice. Now, here's the biggest problem in education. Students feel like they need to get it. There is nothing to get. There's no place to be. You will always be at the fringe of your capabilities. I'll say it again. You'll always be at the fringe of your capabilities. You might have mastered one thing, but the next thing comes up. So next time, once you get this down, how about now rotate your wrists? Do the same thing, hopping on one foot, because that's all education is. It's the process of learning and figuring, okay, I can't do this. Okay, but now I get it, and now I can move on. Now, what's great about this activity is you use this to explain to students that mastering skills requires practice, and you don't give up, right? It's going to be hard. Reduce the fear. Tell them, I'm there for you. I'm going to help you practice, but eventually you're going to get it, but you got to practice. If you say this sentence to students, it won't sink in. If you say, hey guys, make sure you practice, It doesn't sink in. When you do activities like this, experiential learning activities, students go, oh yeah. So in my class, I'll do this at the beginning of the year, and when we get to things in my class, like, 2 months into school, I'll be like, all right guys, today's one of those days. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna start off easy. We're gonna start off with consumer surplus, then we'll talk about producer surplus, and we'll put it all together and talk about total surplus, and that's when it gets hard. So stay with me the whole time. Does that make sense? And I guarantee there's areas in your curriculum where students are like, oh, this is so easy. I can do this all the time. And all of a sudden, when it gets hard, they go, oh, I can't do it. And they become disengaged. They ask to go to the bathroom every 2 minutes, and they try to get out of it, right? As opposed to realize it is always going to be hard. Education is always hard, right? The process of learning takes time. Reason number 3 is when students don't see the benefits of school. Right? They go, I don't know why I'm here. This is just a waste of my time. Right? It's hard for them to stay engaged if they don't know why they're there. So I found this quote on Twitter. This is great. Strong teachers don't teach content. Google has content. Strong teaching connects learning in ways that inspire kids to learn more and strive for greatness. So most of you, and I'd say all of you, were like me when it came to school, right? When you had a book report on Peru, what'd you do? And when you were in school, education's changed, but when you were a kid, what happened? You went to the library and you opened up an encyclopedia. And that like 10 pages on Peru, if there wasn't information in there about Peru, that information didn't exist. There was no more information about Peru except it was in the encyclopedia. Right? But our kids, our students, have grown up in a completely different world. All the rote memorization stuff is right there. And they're thinking like, why do I need to learn any of this from you if it's right here? Why are you testing me on things that is really just a Google search from my phone away, right? And the answer is you're not. It's all about the skills. If very few of our students will use the content we teach every day, I'm talking about the rote memorization content stuff, like the things a lot of times that you just do a quick quiz on, then what do we really want them to walk away with? So here's my point, and here's the big strategy. You got to get a sales pitch, right? You got to get a sales pitch. No more than 2 sentences. And be honest. When was the last time you said that sentence to students? It should have been Friday. It should have been at some point last week. The reality is, and I'm the same way, I forget. I'm so focused on the content we're doing today and this week, and you're not getting the content we're doing this week, that I'm not thinking, well, there's something bigger here. And I got to focus on that. So the strategy here is you got to connect every single lesson to what students really need to understand. Right? I mean, obviously, there's the content, there's the minutia you got to get done, but every single day you should be like, hey, here's why you're here again. This is going to help you achieve that goal. You're not just an educator, you're a salesman. Your job is to sell. I sell economics to a bunch of students who aren't particularly interested in buying economics. You sell 3rd grade or kindergarten or biology. What do most teachers do in high school and middle school first day? Classroom management and the syllabus, right? Here's the book, here's what you're supposed to do, here's what you're not supposed to do, here's the syllabus, right? It is the worst day of school. It is so horribly boring. By your last class, you're like, okay, here's the syllabus, here's what you're supposed to do. Here's the strategy. Do it this year. I promise you, if there's only one thing you can do, it'll make a huge difference. It's right here. Teach your best lesson the first day. So when kids come into your room, first thing you start off with is your best possible lesson. And I'm not talking content-wise. I'm talking about get them engaged, get them excited about coming. The syllabus can wait. Like, do the syllabus later. Do classroom rules.